my class. My question is, you were informed, you opted not to attend. You took the easy path. Without attending, let's learn. That path you opted. But I wrote a letter. I knew classes are suspended. Why did I write when classes were suspended? I wrote a letter to attend my class. You have chosen is no confusion. You made it confused. No, don't say like this. No. It's no. When I write a letter to attend the class, attend the class. You made a let me clarify this. You made it confused. That was the easiest path to learn without attending a class. When a concerned teacher is the master of the class. Concerned teacher is always the master of the class. You are searching some clue by which you will adopt an easier path to learn. The easiest path is don't attend a class and learn. That path you have opted for. The very top. Anyway, let me start from the second class. Online students, please bear with this. Today, I'll repeat the class. And let's see.
No problem. There will be
after repetition,
no problem, sir.
Okay.
That will be a revision for
Yes, sir,
us.
no problem. It's
Good revision,
better
sir.
for us that
No
we'll
problem.
get
No
to
problem.
revise it.
I'll try to go something beyond also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, need not to worry. No, not to worry. Okay.
No
So
problem.
let me start from
Thank
here.
you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, learning a programming language is same as learning any other language, be it English, Odia, and one thing I didn't tell. Mobile phone, I'll advise not to bring to my class. If at all anyone has brought it by mistake, switch it off and keep it inside your bag. It should not be visible to me. No mobile phone should be visible to me. Switch it off and keep it in your bag. Once I find it is on your table or somewhere, I'll take it for 7 days. It will be kept in my office for 7 days. I'll not listen to your parents' request also. I know mobile phone is not required inside the class. You also agree with me. If mobile phone is not required, you should not bring. But if you are bringing by mistake, switch it off and keep it in your bag. Now, I'll discuss here learning a programming language. It's much easier than learning a common language like English, Odia or Hindi. If I follow the same procedure which we have followed in learning our mother language, maybe Bengali, English, Hindi or Odia. If I follow the same procedure, it will become much easier. Let me discuss how we will follow the same procedure in learning a programming language. When you have learned any language, be it English, Hindi or Odia, what you have learned first? Alphabets. English, we have alphabets, small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, 0, 1, 2, 3 digits, plus, minus. These are also alphabets, or I can say characters. If you come to C programming language, more or less, the same set of English characters, same set of English symbols are being used in C programming, except few, where a small cap-like symbol you will find out here, plus plus, is a symbol available in C, which is not available in English language. Except few, the rest of the characters are C. I'll show it today, and learning those characters may require only 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. Because C programming language uses English characters. Let's say we learn characters. Then what I should learn? The words available in that language. Once I learn characters A, B, C, D, then I should start learning ball, cat like this or not. I will also study same here in case of English language, sorry, in case of C programming language. But only difference here is that in a programming language context, words in a programming language context are normally called as token. But nothing wrong if you tell it as a word also. But technically, being a computer science students, you should not say, sir, word of a language. It's basically token of a programming language. So what is a word in a language? The smallest element which has got a meaning or not, like atom in a chemical compound, smallest element which has got a significance meaning. Same way, token is the smallest element of a programming language which has got a significance meaning, which has got a, let's say, meaning over here. And you have been reading English, talking in English, writing in English. बैठते तो इंग्लिश बोलते हो, सोते तो इंग्लिश में सोचते हो. But how many of you can tell I know all words of English language? सर शायद कोई नहीं है. Yes or no? How many of you can claim I know 50% of the English words? वो भी सर बहुत मुश्किल से हम बोलेंगे, लेकिन फिर अब शायद संभव नहीं है. But in C programming language, number of tokens, if you look at the varieties of tokens, may not be more than 100. And those tokens which I'll be using in C programming language, you will see we have been using most of them in English language. Because we have been using the English language, it doesn't require extra time to remember it. I'll show it very soon. So only I will say maximum 100 words, and out of which 75 to 80 words you already know. Only you will need to remember 10 to 20 words which you have not used in English and will be using it in C programming language. Coming to tokens, you have learned tokens. You have learned the words in a language. What next you want to learn? How to write sentences. So what you need to know to write sentences in a language? The grammar of that language. Agreed or not? But in C programming language, we don't say grammar. We normally say the syntax of writing a sentence. And if you go to the next lower level, where a programming language was developed, we call grammar of that language. Otherwise, in a higher perspective, I can say what is the syntax of writing variety x1 variety sentence, x2 is another variety sentence, x3 is another variety of sentence. So what is the syntax of writing x1 sentence type? What is the variety of writing x2 type? Variety of x3 types, like this. A number of sentences in C programming language are not more than 20. In English, variety of sentences are 20 or much beyond that. Beyond that. More than 100, 200. Sir, वो भी हर ग्रामर पता नहीं है. Agreed or not? कहाँ भी ए आन लगा देते हैं, कभी कभी बोल नहीं पाते. Do you agree with me or not? आज के तारीख में भी ए आन कहाँ लगेगा बोल नहीं पाओगे. Do you all agree to me or not? तुम नहीं, हम भी. When I say we are in the same platform, I studied it, I am teaching. You have not studied it, you will learn. So now, sentences. In a programming language context, the sentences are basically called as statements or instructions. In English language, A equal to B plus C is a sentence. In a C language, A equal to B plus C is a instruction, or I can say statements. Understood it? Very good. But I have some observation over here. Is it so I will learn all words, then start learning the grammar to write a sentence? Or with few words learning, I'll start learning the grammar to write sentences? What's the approach? Tell me. Few or some? Let me write sentences using those words, and gradually we'll go on learning words and go on learning new type of sentences. Agreed or not? We'll apply the same approach here. Not that in one class, I will discuss all words, you'll memorize, then start writing sentences. With few learning of few words, we'll start writing sentences, and after writing sentences, what I need to know? Sentence हमसे हो गया. सर बहुत सारे सेंटेंस बोल देंगे जब बहुत पूछने से. What next to learn a language? Not computer language, common language, ओडिया, हिंदी, इंग्लिश, बंगाली. उसके बाद क्या करते हो? Essays and letters. Sentence होने का बाद we learn sir how to write sentences, how to write essays and letters. Sir वो हो जाने से I say, I claim I know a language. I know many of the words, if not all. I know most of the grammars, and I can write essay or letters if I have been asked to write in a language. Program is nothing but writing an essays or letters in in a particular programming language. Writing essays and letters, we follow a formal procedures. Introduction, description, conclusions. Yes or no? In between, after description, somebody may say advantage, disadvantages like this. But broadly, I will say three: introduction, description, and conclusions. Here, in programming language, I'll also tell some basic procedure will follow, but there is no formal procedure available to write down a programs like put the formula, get the answers. Suppose two equations are given with two variable x and y. 2x plus 3y equal to 9 and 3x minus 2y equal to 15. Can you solve these two equations or not? Huh? Formal procedure, equalize the coefficient of x, then add or subtract so that x component will be 0, y component find a y, then put the value of y, get the value of x. Yes or no? We follow a formal procedure. What do you understand by a formal procedure? But no such formal procedure is available till now. Put the formula, get the programs. Somebody is giving a task, not that, sir, the formula डाल के program लिख देंगे. No. So you have to apply your intelligence to write down a program. So writing a program is basically an art. The more you write, the more you will learn. Not that, sir, ये तो sentence भी हो गया, token भी हो गया. Sir, I can write any essay. Can you write any essay if you know how to formulate sentences? It must be a meaningful essay, not that कुछ sentence लिख देने से ऐसे हो जाता तो सब लोग sentence लिख देते. So now my point is, so writing program is basically an art. I have already given one example to online students. To you also I'm giving how to become a good programmer. Okay, and you need to remember this. Now let me tell, I normally tell to all my students, and till their students remember this and tell me also, sir, what you have told in the first semester in learning 3 is very correct. Swimming, Teherna, swimming, do you know? You have heard of it, must have seen in TV, many must have learned it also. But I'm finding, looking at your faces, many are from urban areas. In swimming, if you want to learn in an urban place, sitting in Calcutta, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, like this, you have to go to a coaching center. There will be a coach, and you have to buy some dresses for swimming, may cost you 5,000 to 10,000. And the coach will take again 2,000 to 4,000. You have to pay for swimming also every day, and you will attend few classes, 5 to 10, 1 hour classes. ऐसे तैरना, ऐसे जाने के बाद फिर पैर हिलाना, वो सब you will learn it, and then you will be asked to get into the water where the height of the water might be 3 feet. Agreed or not? Fact बोल रहे हैं. You attended a few classes, invested a lot of money for swimming. Think of a student who has come from village. Anyone who is from a village can raise your hand. Only 1 or 2, 3. Oh, very less. Ah, very good. If you stayed in village, like my childhood is passed in the village basically, there you will not find a single coach for swimming. You will not find a special dress for swimming. You will find out ponds. The height of the water must be more than 20 feet. No teacher is there, no trainer is there. Today you ask urban student, urban fellow who has learned swimming, and a student who came from village, he learned swimming. You take both of them to a river, ask them to get into the water, you'll see who will get into the water. Can you say? Only the village.
Yeah, village one.
Yes, Vasis, agreed or not? Avigna? Rajsekhar, do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So
yes,
how
sir.
it was possible? He didn't get a trainer. He didn't get a trainer. No special dress was required. How he became trained?
Sir, he learned it by
He,
himself.
Yes,
he figured
by
his own way
He
out.
figured
yes,
he figured it out by his
yes,
own.
by getting into the water. So if you want to learn swimming, get into the water. Get into the water, you will learn. And same thing today. You ask any good programmer, any coder, ask him, did you learn it from a teacher? 99.99% will say no. We have learned on our own. No coder No best programmer in the world has learned programming from a faculty. Those who have learned it properly, they have learned on their own by practicing only, not by reading the book. So my humble submission here is teaching is at one place, but learning programming language is a different place. There is a huge gap. If you want to become a good coder, good programmer, so you have to start writing the program irrespective of the teacher is teaching or not. मेरे जैसे लोग आएंगे स्टोरी बोल के चला जाएंगे ऐसे पढ़ाएंगे नहीं तुम लोग पढ़ नहीं पाओगे तो इसलिए माय सिंसियर एडवाइस हियर इज टू इफ यू वांट टू बिकम ए गुड प्रोग्रामर good coder start writing programs spend at least 1 to 2 hours every day in writing programs if not every day in a week at least spend other than this lab hour 10 hours I assure you will become a good programmer and that's the approach of learning C programming language okay now coming to this so now as I told we learn this programming language very quickly where other language takes a lot of time. Look at the characters, alphabets which are available in C programming language. Do you require really a lot of time to learn it, or you already know all these symbols used in English language? Used. However, C programming language uses combination of two characters, but treated as one symbols. Treated as one symbols. Those are some special sequences. Every special sequence has a significance, which I'll discuss whenever we'll be using these special symbols in our programs, starting from \A, \T, \R, \N like this. Consist of, if I look at from English language point of view, consist of one character or two characters. अंग्रेजी में दिखने से ये दो कैरेक्टर दिखता है या एक कैरेक्टर दिखता है? Two. But if you look at C programming language, is it one character or one symbol or two symbols? One symbol. And need not remember right now. We'll remember it gradually when we study it. जब practice करेंगे याद हो जाएगा. Then constant come to this. Keywords. There are some words which are kept reserved by the programming language for some specific use. There are some words which are kept reserved by the programming language for its own use. These are the words like auto. ये auto नहीं है जो गाड़ी चलाते हैं. Some words are very common like break, case, continue, default, do, if, while. But some words we have never seen in English like const. Have you ever seen it in English? No. See, English में इसका मतलब क्या है? Constant तो const I think spelling. अरे भाई, how मतलब कहाँ का इंग्लिश पढ़ के आए? दूसरा डिक्शनरी लिखोगे तुम फिर लग रहा है. नहीं शॉर्ट फॉर्म कैसे हो गया? वो तो इंग्लिश वर्ड बोलना पड़ेगा. इंग्लिश में शॉर्ट लिखने से मार्क मिलता है क्या? Then why you are talking? Then you look at this enum. ENUM is not an English word. Used in C language, I'll tell its purpose. Return is an English word, but size of is not an English word. Size is a word, of is a word. But combined size of is not an English word. So there are some English words which are being kept reserved, some non-English words being reserved by this programming language for some specific use. Like पुराना जमाना में राजा महाराजा उनका बेटा बेटी का नाम फिक्स रख लेते थे शादी से पहले. वो नाम तुम लोग रख नहीं पाओगे. समझ में आया? So those names are being kept reserved. A general public cannot use it for its their own use. No, it can be kept reserved with the kings and queens. So now coming to the next one, tokens. Reserved word अभी भी याद करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Gradually will use and got to know the use purpose of it. Tokens. Before I ask, this tokens can be of how many types? Normally, depending upon the book who is giving the definition, it varies from 3 to 5. Some book tells 3, some books tells 4, some book tells 5, some teacher like me tells 5. When I teach compiler, I tell 7. I combine few types to tell one type. ये कोई भगवान ने नहीं बनाया token can be of 3 types, 4 types or 5 types. It is we people who are defining it. मैं यहाँ पे 4 बोलता हूँ, जब कंपाइलर पढ़ाता हूँ ना वो 7 बोल देता हूँ, वो 7 भी मैं कन्विंस कर देता हूँ. So we'll tell it for 4 types. How many types of tokens can be? 4. And the first one is very simple. Identifier is basically used. कॉपी में लिखो, अरे बैठ गया मतलब कॉपी में लिखो, यही तो लिखना है. Identifier is used to name or identify. Identifier is used to name or identify. अरे फैन ला बंद कर दोगी. Identify or name a variable, comma. कैसे बैठ जाता हूँ बिना पेन कॉपी में, मतलब समझ में नहीं आ रहा. मतलब हाँ, to identify or name, क्या लिखा है? A variable, comma, function name, comma, macro name. And an identifier is used to identify a variable name, a function name, a macro name, okay, etc. Okay, just write down etc. बाद में बोलेंगे etc में क्या क्या है. Okay, so like a human being is identified. How do I identify this fellow? Should I say blue color shirt or I should call him by the name? So पिता माता ने एक नाम रखे. So I should identify a student by a name or not? Same way, the system computer will identify a variable. What is a variable? I will tell. What is a variable? I will tell. But if we have a variable, it should have a name. If we have a function, it should have a name. If we have a macro, it should have a. But how do I identify? Is it just like a human being name? Like let's say Gaurav, Nitish, or क्या smartness? अरे पहला नाम देखा ऐसे smartness. Smart तो है, फिर smartness कहाँ से? Anisha Raj, Srishti Banerjee, is it a name like this? No, sir, a little variation is there. A name normally consists of set of alphabets. Yes or no? All 26 alphabets or other alphabets are used in your name. किसी के नेम में है क्या apostrophe वगैरह है क्या? तो नहीं है. Subtraction है क्या? नहीं. Only alphabets. But thanks to C programming language, they have allowed us to use other symbols than A, B, C, D also in the identifiers. बढ़ जाता है नाम, लोग नाम नहीं मिलता, वही राम नाम बहुत सारे. आजकल तो राम नाम नहीं होगा, आजकल जो नाम मैं बोलूंगा क्या, ऋषभ, बहुत स्टूडेंट का नाम ऋषभ होगा, ऋषा बहुत ज्यादा स्टूडेंट का नाम होगा, पर मिल नहीं रहा है, वही नाम है, कैरेक्टर है. So character set has been increased to give a name. Okay, and we will see that the first name in an identifier. Yes.
Sir, can you repeat the definition which you were telling previously?
बात में repeat कर लेंगे, इतना सुन लो.
अच्छा, ठीक है. Okay.
Now look at this. The first character. Just 1 minute. Asunadeb, he is the director of student affairs. Please welcome him. अरे बड़े सार हैं. हाँ.
क्लास
हाँ मुझे झाड़ी तंग और 8 था. 8 कैमरे क्या करते हैं. हाँ ठीक है. हाँ. Now let me say the name. As I told, the character set has been increased. But do remember, a name consists of, identifier consists of set of characters. The number of characters present in an identifier varies from system to system. In some system, it consists of 12 characters, some 16, some 18 or 24. Doesn't matter. Let's go with 8, 10 characters. But the first character should not be a numeric character. First character should not be 0, should not be 1, up to should not be numeric digit. It should not be. It can be A, it can be B, it can be underscore, followed by the subsequent characters can be a numeric or non-numeric. But the first character should not be a numeric character. When I identify a variable by its name, when I identify a function by its name, The name should not start with a digit like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Starts with A, B, C, D underscore like this, but followed by any number of characters which could either be a numeric or non-numerics. And with this idea, I have a questions. Look at this. AB can be an identifier or not? Area can be an identifier or not? Radius underscore A, full, empty, empty2, B underscore 2, SA3. Understand? And the next line, not identifier. 1A, can it be an identifier? 2 underscore dad. मैं डैड लिख दिया, मॉम लिखने से अच्छा रहता क्योंकि याद कर रहे हो गए अभी घर से आए। अरे है कि नहीं है? ऑनलाइन वाले के लिए ठीक है, ऑफलाइन वाले बहुत सोच रहे होंगे मम्मी को याद है, ठीक है। अगले क्लास में 2 अंडरस्कोर मॉम दे दूंगा, ठीक है। फॉर नाउ द क्वेश्चन व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग, there are some reserved words which are being kept reserved by the programming language where I cannot use it as an identifier. For, while, auto, void, int, const, which I have discussed just now previously, those, if I look at this, they cannot be used as an identifier. Long, long, int, stroke, switch, type def, union, I cannot use it as an identifier. But I like enum very much. If I want to use, what I can do, enum underscore 1 can be an identifier. आगे नहीं समझ में? Enum underscore 2 can be an identifier. If is a very liking word मेरा होता है if. जब भी बोलता हूं मैंने if बोल के बोलता हूं. ये अगर होने से फिर वो होगा. So if I want to give an identifier for if you write an if underscore 1, if underscore 2, but if itself cannot be an identifier. Understood it or not? So now tell me, how much time did you spend in learning identifier used in a programming language? Did you spend more than 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes? So you remember all identifiers or not? अरे याद कर लिया कितने आइडेंटिफायर थे सी में? सर हो गया 10 मिनट में, आगे बढ़ते हैं फिर। कांस्टेंट और लिटरल्स। In English language, we use basically 2 types of constants. The constant can either be an integer constant or real constants or floating point constants. When I write a data like this, let's say 50 is an integer constant. Sorry, 50 is an integer constant. 2.569 is a real constant. So these 2 constants are available in C programming language, sorry, English language. You all know these or not? ये तो याद करने से ज्यादा, if I tell a data, can't you say it's an integer constant or floating point constant? Yes or no? 20.5 integer constant or floating point constant? Very good. Real numbers are floating point numbers. However, C programming language uses one more constant other than English, that is a character constant. But character constant in C languages, in C language are written like this. A is a character constant inside single quote. When I write A inside single quote, A becomes a character constant. Now I'm coming. 5 is a constant or integer? Character constant or integer constant? Integer constant. However, if I write single quote 5, is it an integer or character constant? It becomes a character constant. The meaning is, for every data, we have a memory locations. When I have 5, what would be stored inside the memory location? Same 5 will be stored. If I have a character 5, ASCII value of 5 will be stored. And ASCII value of 5 is, I have remembered 53 decimal. गलत बोला क्या? 35 नहीं 53 होता है, चलो उससे कोई मतलब नहीं, उससे भी कोई मतलब नहीं. So ASCII value of 5 will be stored and it is 53, or I can say 35 hexadecimal, 53 decimal. So when we write a ASCII character or character, the character is stored in the memory or ASCII value is stored? ASCII value. If I'm writing an integer, ASCII value of the integer is stored or integer is stored? Very nice. Now let me ask a question. If you have understood this, last also I asked the same questions. We have a number here 204. Okay? और ये बोल दोगे थोड़ा बहुत, तब मुश्किल सा क्वेश्चन दे देते हैं. We have 6 here. If I ask you to read it as an integer, how much will read? Very good. If I ask you to read it as a character, how much will read? A character. No, a character whose ASCII value is 6. आया समझ में? Character whose ASCII value is? For example, class character, its ASCII value is 6. Suppose. So you will read 6 or plus? Plus. समझ में आया कि नहीं आया? ये समझ में आ गया? So now do remember, if it is a character, its ASCII value is stored in the memory. If it is an integer, the integer value will be stored in the main memory. Very good. Now come to the next one. Literals and constants are basically synonyms used in a programming language. Yes or no? There is a small difference. In some programming language, not C, there is no difference. I do not segregate it. यहाँ तक समझ में आने से पूरे समझ लिए कि पढ़ना पड़ेगा? नहीं पढ़ने से हो जाएगा. Very good. आगे बढ़ो. Reserved words. These are the reserved words which I already told, and we'll learn about every reserved words when we come across it, when we use it. Need not remember it right now. Only just keep a watch on this. So these are the reserved words being used. I should not use it as an identifier. That's all to remember till we come across the purpose of a reserved words. Only you remember these are the reserved words. We should not use it for an identifiers. I have a question here. Before I move to the next one, the question here is, I asked online students may answer, but others will not listen. Offline students, suppose I write down minus 5. What would be the value of this? 4, 5. Any other answer? 4. Many have learned C programming language or C++, Java. Yes or no? What is minus 5? 4. Okay. Let's listen this. Proceed to understand what is the value of this. Okay. Very good. Well, I'll come to this. Now next is operators or delimiters. I sometimes separate, sometimes combine it. मैं अगर अभी compiler पढ़ाऊंगा, operator is one, delimiter is one. If I am teaching C programming, operator and delimiters. In every language we use delimiters, which is basically used to segregate between the words, between the sentences. Suppose I write a sentence like this. Look at this. Suppose I write. Can you read it what I have written? IGO. Very good. IGO. It's not IGO. It's not IGO. It's not IGO. Because in between every two words there should be a space or not. Had I been written like this, I, then space, then GO, possibly you would have read it as IGO. So in between every two words in English language, you ought to provide a space or not. More number of space is also accepted, but at least single space is required. At the end of the sentence, we are supposed to provide a dot or not? Full stop? मैंने dot गलती से बोल दिया, नहीं dot नहीं है, full stop. In Odia we put a पूर्णच्छेद. In Bangla also, yes. बांग्ला तो हमारा अड्डा पूर्णच्छेद ये तो. So I think I'm done. Now in Bengali, in English also we give a semicolon, sorry, comma for short sentence. Yes or no? And C programming language uses the same comma for short sentences and a semicolon at the end of every sentence. And also in some cases a space is required between two tokens. However, C programming language compiler is so competent, even if you do not provide a space, I write down A assigns to B plus C without a space, it can recognize every words. It can recognize every words even if I don't provide space. So if you are providing space, fine. Between two tokens, if we do not provide, in some cases it is accepted, it is recognized, but in some cases it is mandatory. So my option will be, advice will be to start with, if you find difficulty, provide a space. Later on, reduce the space if it is not required. Understood it? At the end of the sentence, we'll put a purnachhed or semicolon. Short sentences can be written using. Very good. And then Comma is also used as a separator, and sometimes we provide a space, sometimes we do not provide a space over here. So up to this is understood, yes or no? Delimiter is understood. Come to the operators. If I come to the operators, many things we need to study about on operators. Some operator we come across in English, plus, minus, multiplication, division, and in C we'll get additional operator like plus, plus, minus, minus. A bracket is an operator. अंग्रेजी से नहीं है bracket to separate out. Bracket is used as an operator. Star is not multiplication. Star is a dereferencing operators. This arrow mark consists of two symbols, dash and greater than, is an operator, which I have not used in English. Double ampersand is also an operator. All these operators, other than this, many operators are there, we'll study, are basically the symbols used for the operators. First, whenever I study about, somebody told dereferencing operator, I must know, sir, dereferencing operator, we use basically symbol star. Understood it? Then, arity of the operators. When you study about an operators, arity means how many data or operand an operator takes to carry out the operations. If I ask you a question for addition operation, how many operands are required?
So 2.
Maximum 3. Exactly 2. भाई आर तो 2 ही लेता है, एक एडिशन 3 देने से 2 एडिशन देना पड़ता है. So each addition takes how many operator? Exactly 2. And then I say this operator is a unary or binary. If the operator is unary, how many operand it will take? If it is ternary, how many operand it will take? And we have only one ternary operator, question mark and colon. Will come to this later on. But unary, binary operator, I'll discuss right now. When I talked about unary and binary, the arity I know. But the next question is the biggest concern here. I used an arity. Then I'm coming to the notations. When I come to the notation, do I use notation like infix, prefix, or postfix? It means binary operator. Suppose I want to add 2 and 5. I can write down 2 plus 5. Normally, you write in English. However, from the programming language perspective, the compiler, the machine will feel comfortable if we use a postfix notation like 2, 5 plus. This is easier for the computer to evaluate, which we are not accustomed to. We are not used to. We are used to infix notation. Infix means in between 2 operand, operator will appear. Infix means to the left one operand, to the right also we have one operand. Infix notations. All binary operator in C programming language uses infix notations. But compiler feels which is easier for compiler? Postfix. We could have a prefix also, plus 2 and 5. Compiler doesn't feel for infix, sorry, prefix, but comfortable for postfix. But Cunning and Richie thought my next generation people must use the same way they write in
गाली
English.
करिए बुद्धिया करिए तापर कांदी
Hey, Ankita, switch off your audio.
ना
Ankita Senapati. बैठ जाता घर में. Yes. Now, Cunning and Richie thought if I allow the user to write infix notation, possible they will not find any difficulty in writing C programs because they are accustomed in English, rather than using postfix notations, which will study in future. Postfix notation, how easy it is to evaluate by the compilers, by the computers. Understood it? All postfix. I have a question. If it is a unary operator, how many operand it will take? 1. If it is 1, can I write down, very good, can I write down a big A inside this plus plus, where plus plus is a unary operator? उसका अंदर डाल दें क्या? Infix तो फिर अंदर ही रहेगा, है कि नहीं? If I want to write down A plus plus, and can it be infix? So unary operator can never be infix. It can either be prefix, or I can write down A plus plus or plus plus A. I cannot write down A inside plus plus. Oh, any system. So that is why infix operator can either be prefix, can or be postfix, and sometimes it is both. plus plus minus minus uses both prefix and postfix. However, this bracket operator is a postfix. The star operator is prefix. Understood it? So there are some operator which are prefix, and this exclamation used for not. Not is used for prefix. If I want to write down a, not of a, I'll write down not then a, not a not. Understood it? अरे हाँ तो बोलो कम से कम हाँ खाना वाना खा के सो जाने से थोड़ी होगा.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Now after this notation, see how what we used to study. Now let me say, I have used how many operators? 3 operators here. Percentage is one operator, ampersand is an operator, at the rate is one operator. Datas are A, B, C, and D, all are binary operators. Can you say which operator I should evaluate first? Those who remain silent, they are giving correct answer. It's very confusing, sir. Unless and until I say percentage has higher precedence than ampersand. Suppose I write on A plus B into C, which we operate first? कौन सा करते हैं पहले? क्यों? बदमाश रूल में बोलता है precedence of multiplication is higher than addition or not? वो भूल गए क्या? If I have multiple operator available in an expression, multiple operators are there, I need to find out which operator has higher precedence. If I say ampersand higher precedence than at the rate is higher than percentage, which one should be evaluated first? Very good answer. Then so now given an expression consists of multiple number of operators, I need to know the precedence, and we have a single page in the book which will tell which operator has highest precedence, which has lowest precedence, and which are coming in a particular order is available, higher to lower. From there you will get to know which operator will be evaluated first, which will be evaluated next. Understood up to this? Are yes or no? Yes, sir. I have a small question again. Suppose I write an expression A plus B plus C plus 5. Which one I should evaluate first? Left to right. Because we are Indian, we read always from left to right. Is it a reason, or mathematics says that addition, the associativity is from left to right? Now, this we told. But if I ask A, $B, $C, a dollar is an operator, which one I should evaluate first? $B or B dollars?
$A
क्यों?
So because वो आगे है.
नहीं आगे वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. इंडियन बोल के आगे बोलोगे, जब चाइना के पोर्टल पढ़ेंगे तो बोलोगे उधर से चलेगा नहीं. Then the next question is,
Yes.
if multiple operator will have equal precedence, we'll study about the associativity. If the associativity is from left to right, then I will evaluate A ampersand B, B ampersand C like this. All have equal precedence. If the associativity of ampersand is right to left, will I go for A ampersand B first or B ampersand C first? Associativity is from right to left. B ampersand C because it's right to left. Most of the operators uses left to right associativity, except few. Some unary operator uses only right to left associativity. Some, not all. And in the same page of the book, you will find out which operators uses right to left. Once you remember 3-4 operators which uses from right to left, rest all will be using left to right. Do remember this. So about an operator, what we studied? The symbol, arity, notation, precedence, associativity, and the type of the operands on which it will be operated. I can tell you an expression which I'll give a proof in future. We have an expression, let's say A plus 1. Value of A is 5,000. Value of A is 5,000. A plus 1. Can you tell what would be the value of A plus 1? 5,000? Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. I don't say it's false. A plus 1, maybe 5,001, maybe 5,002, never be 5,003. I'll tell the reason also later on. For 5,004, 5,008, 5,010, 5,020, 6,000 like this. Value of A is 5,000. A plus 1 value will be like this. I'll tell it in future. Because if the data value, the result depends upon on which type of data, we are doing the plus operations. Do I do the operation on an integer data? Your answer is correct. If I'm doing for a address data, address is 5,000. The result may not necessarily be 5,001, maybe 5,002 like this. So it depends upon the type of data on which an addition operation is carried out. So that is why next is I must know my plus operator is applicable to on which type of data. Is it only applicable integer, character, or float, or this is also available for an address? Then I'm coming multiplications. Is multiplication available for two addresses? No. Is multiplication available for address and integer? No. So we must also know for which type of operands these operations will be applicable. After knowing this, today also I'll discuss about this. After knowing this, I need to know what would be the result if the operands are of these types. If the data are of this type, then what should be the result for a plus operations? So about an operator, we should study all this. Then I say, I studied about an operators. With this, I have the same question to repeat right now. I have the same question to repeat, the value of minus 5. My question here is, you have answered for, I all know. My question here is, can I apply this unary operator to a constant? Can I apply unary operator to a constant? My question here is, tell me answer right now. Constant में कभी करके देखें? Now let me tell the logic also why will not be applied. It will not be applied to a constant. बोलोगे सर किताब में तो सर पढ़ के गए कहीं भी नहीं मिला ये सेंटेंस मिलना चाहिए. But let's have an intelligent brain to make a proper analysis. Suppose I say A plus plus. If we have a statement A plus plus or plus plus, it doesn't matter. The equivalent statement is A equal to. This is the equivalent statement.
Sir, your mic is mute.
Sir, you are muted.
Anisha Raj, is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You are
Need not worry. Need not worry. Can a constant appear in the left hand side of an assignment operator? अरे हाँ कि ना तो बोलो जोर से बोलो. हाँ कोई बोल रहा है? अरे कॉपी में लिखे कि नहीं माइनस 5. व्हाट इज द इक्विवेलेंट स्टेटमेंट? 5 equal to 5 minus 1. Can I write a statement 5 equal to 5 minus 1? So is it a valid statement? So can you answer to a question if the question is invalid? Do you have an answer to the invalid question? So now minus 5, is it a valid statement or invalid statement? But if you have answered 4 or 5, we are arguing. Understood it or not? So why it is not accepted, understood or not? So plus plus minus minus is not applicable to a constant, nor also applicable to a floating point variable. It can only be applicable to an integer variable and an address variable. It cannot be applicable to a constant nor applicable to a floating point variable. Understood it or not? With this, yes.
What is an address variable?
I'll tell many things later on. Okay, सब कुछ अभी बोलने से होगा नहीं, ठीक है? सब कुछ आज बोलने से होगा नहीं. Now look at this. Data types. Let me tell a little bit about this. In data types, as I told, a program consists of two things. Write down instructions and data. Every program consists of instruction and data. Suppose I ask you to do addition. Can you do addition? कर दोगे? करो addition. You will ask me the data to be added, yes or no? अरे मैं instruction बोल देने से हो जाएगा क्या? Addition. Data is required or not? Whenever I ask you to do addition, I must be giving one data or two data. So that is what I'm saying. The data during execution of the program are available in the main memory. Sometimes they are also available inside the CPU in the registers. Sometimes. But all data which are required for execution are available in the main memory. Every memory will have a locations, and those locations would be identified by a programmer by name of a variables. Indirectly, every user will define a variable name, and the variable name will be assigned to a memory locations, and the data assigned to the variable will be stored in the memory locations. Depending upon the type of the data, we will declare the name of the variables, depending on the type of the data. So broadly, data can be user defined. They are of integer types. In short, we write int. Character type, in short, we write char. Float type, we write float, not short. Okay, predefined data types. There are some user defined data types like date of birth. Is it an integer? Is it a floating point? सर कैसे फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट होगा सर? एक दिन जन्म नहीं पाया, डेट बोलते हैं, उसका डॉट कुछ बोलते हैं कि 12 घंटे का बाद 0.5. So now those user defined data types are required when we feel that the data types is not available in the programming language. So there are some data types which have been predefined in the language itself. They are broadly integer, float, or character. And taking those predefined, user can go for a derived data types, which are array pointers, reference छोड़ दो अभी नहीं. And then there are some user defined which we'll study later on. Coming to int, character, and float, let me tell something over here. Suppose further I will go for a breaking of this integer. You want to store a number using 3 places. An integer number you want to store in 3 places. What would be the largest number that could be represented in places? Very good. If the number is a signed number, there must be a signed bit. Can it be 999 or it should be plus 99? Smallest number can be minus 99. So my question here is, in 3 places, the largest number what I am representing, can I represent the same largest number if it is a signed number? You all agree to understand it or not? Now my question here is, number of places are fixed to keep a number. Number of places are fixed, maybe 3 places or 4 places. If all my numbers are positive, I will keep these places to represent the magnitude of the number or not. So my number will go up to 999. If my numbers can either be positive, negative, then one place I will be keeping for my sign, rest will represent my magnitude or not. So it all depends on the purpose for which you are declaring it. If I know my numbers all are positive, should I declare it as a signed integer or unsigned integer? Unsigned. If my number can either be positive or negative, it can be a, and the same place which has been allocated for a signed and unsigned, which can give a larger range. Very good. Same thing also happens here as decimal for binary systems. I'm not going to discuss details, it will create a lot of confusions. Further, integer number can either be signed or unsigned. Same place is used, only signed number will have a small range, unsigned will a large range. My next question. The integer further is divided into three categories: short integer, integer, and long integers. Depending upon if I'm going to store small values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, or 100, should I take a larger space or smaller space? Smaller space. But if my data are very large, can I accommodate using smaller place? Can you accommodate using two place a number like 256? ऐसे लिख दोगे क्या उसके ऊपर करके? तीन प्लेस चाहिए. So now we'll always go for smaller space where our data can be accommodated. If not, I'll go for a. With that, my data can either be short integer, or in some machine, short integer takes 1 byte, integer takes 2 bytes, and long int takes 4. In some machine, it is 2, 4, and 8. 2, 4, and 8. In some 2, 4, and 4. It all depends on the environment. We are not going to discuss it right now. But only thing, remember, long integer size is larger than this much. You must understood it or not? An integer will be coming outside this range or in between this. Very good. Character also sign, unsigned. Do go into sign, unsigned right now. Float, we have two options: float and double. Float is represented using 4 bytes, and double is represented using 8 bytes. What is the necessity of going for a larger space to represent a real number? Suppose 1 by 3. Can you tell the value of 1 by 3? Oh, 10 by 3. What is the value of this 10 by 3? 3.333. खत्म नहीं होगा, खत्म नहीं होगा.
No, sir.
Yes or no? But if I tell, listen it carefully. Suppose I tell 5 by 2. Can you tell the value or not? 2.5 n. 2.5 n. Yes or no?
2.5.
But 10
Yes,
by
sir.
3, 3.33333. So if I'm going for more decimal points, the accuracy of the number will become more or not? So that's the necessity. Other point is also that the range will also be larger to represent. So if I'm going for a 8 bytes floating point number, which is a double, my accuracy and range becomes larger. If I'm satisfied with small accuracy, I may go for float. Understood it? But floats are signed only. No unsigned scope is there, float and double. So float and double are of two types, real number, but integer has been divided in how many numbers types? First 3, then in everywhere sign, unsigned. Signed, sort in, unsigned, sort in, signed in, unsigned in, 6. Is it understood or not? Then in today's class will be for 1.5 hours. Next day it will be only 1 hour. Look at this. We will declare the variables or name of the variable, which is nothing but an identifier. Every variable name is declared with the data types, followed by name of the variables, ended with semicolons. If I have one variable, I'll write down with semicolon ended. If I have multiple variables, I'll segregate them with comma operators. If I have multiple variables, they will be separated with a comma in between. Int si, comma pen, float bus, comma f1, char code, comma ch. Understood? When we declare variables, immediately memory locations are allocated. These are the contents of the memory location. Contents are named as si, pen, bus, f1, code, and ch, and their memory locations are named as ampersand si. Address of the variable is named as ampersand name of the variable. Content is named as name of the variable. Understood it? थोड़ा सा पेन होगा लेकिन आज थोड़ा पढ़ा देता हूं. Look at this. At the time of declaring, we can assign some values. Int si equal to 5, pen assigns to 20, bus 2.5, f1 3.45, code single quote capital T, and ch plus. In the place here, T is stored, ASCII value of capital T is stored. ASCII value of t is stored. ASCII value of plus is also stored over here. I don't remember the value, I didn't write it. Look at this. Very important. We studied some tokens. Now I'm coming to statement. My first statement is assignment statements. Every assignment statement starts with a variable followed by assignment operator. Then we have an arithmetic expressions. Arithmetic expression consists of all your operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, unary operator, binary operator, like this. But when we go for this arithmetic operators, the operands can either be of all same type, operands can also be of different types. We'll see what will happen if the operands are of different types also. तुम 500 को मैंने यहां से निकाल दूंगा बीच वाला. Either you sit, listen to me, or get out of my class. Listen it carefully. Execution of arithmetic statement. If I have a statement like this, A equal to B plus C, sorry, and value of B is, let us say, 10, value of C is 20. The right hand side expression gets evaluated and the value is assigned to the left hand side variable. Up to this is understood or not?
Sir.
After this, do remember this, after this, the whole statement returns a value. The whole statement returns a value being returned by the right hand side statement. If somebody is there, it will be caught, he will catch it. If no one is there, the value will fall in a no man's land, no one will catch it, like cricket match. कभी कभी बॉल गिर जाता ना no man's land में. Or yes or no? Yes, no one will catch. So if I have a statement like this, let me tell another statement here to explain this. Suppose you have a statement A assigns to P assigns to 2 plus 3. The right hand side statement gets executed, P will be assigned to a value 5. And this assignment statement will return a value 5 will be assigned to, and the whole statement will return a value. No one is there, the 5 will fall. And later on, I'll tell you, in some cases, someone will be there who will catch this value. For example, if I write down A assigns to 0, what it will return the whole statement? Can anyone say? 0. If I write down if A assigns to 0, what it will return?
True.
You tell me what this A assigns to 0 will return.
True.
It will return 0. अभी बोले A assigns to 0 will return 0. Now you are saying return true. अरे अभी क्या बोले इधर क्या रिटर्न करेगा? 0. So this will also return
0.
If it returns 0, 0 is treated as true or false?
False.
Had it been 1,
True.
next 1, the statement would have returned 1 and 1 would have treated as
True.
True.
So every assignment statement returns a value being returned by the right hand side statement. If someone is there, like if he is there to catch it, इधर ही if खड़ा है to catch it, someone return it, he will catch and interpret this. If no one would have been there, A equal to 1, will anyone catch this value? It will fall there. It happens in C programming language, may not happen in other languages. Understood it? So with this, let me proceed here. Arithmetic statement, integer, let me give you extend the example. All these variables or constant are of same type or not? Integer or not? All these
Yes, sir.
operations will also be integer operation. Let me tell one thing. Floating point operation, integer operation for a human being takes equal time or unequal time. Same addition, multiplication, integer multiplication, floating point multiplication, which takes more time to you? Floating point. Even if integer square root and floating point square root, which takes more time? यार फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट होगा ही नहीं सर आप देने से, आप जैसे पूछने लग रहे हैं शायद पूछ लेंगे. So floating point operation to a machine takes a lot of time as compared to integer operations. So then we should opt for which type of operation? But our accuracy may not be there for integer operation. Wherever necessary, we'll go for floating point operation or not. Remember this. So that is why we should opt for. So two operations are different. Suppose let me ask you a question. 2 divided by 1. Let me ask a question. 2 divided by 1. This division is an integer operation or floating point operation? If I write down 2 divided by 1.0, this division will be floating point operation. Immediately the value may be same, you will get a lot of difference in timing of executions. So it depends upon the system. So what you have written over here, let me ask one question here with this. Real mode, all operations, addition, division, multiplications are real or floating point operations. Sometimes our data can be in mixed mode. Look at this. First one. Will you go for division first or addition in the bracket first? Very good. You will definitely go for A plus B. Yes or no? This addition operation is integer or floating point? Saurabh Kumar, Nirmalya, क्या होगा? ये addition integer or float?
Sir, it's integer.
Plus B will be
It's integer.
Yes, sir.
First addition. Second addition is integer or float?
Float, sir.
Float. If we have integer float, operation will be float. Understood or not?
Yes.
The result will be integer or float. Float divided by 4. Integer division or floating point division?
Floating point division.
Floating point.
So how many floating point operations and how many integer operations? One integer, first addition, other two are floating point. Understood it or not?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Come to the second one. Nirmalya, first addition will be integer or float?
Integer.
No.
Integer.
F2,
Float.
F2 plus B.
Sir, I have to float.
Floats.
Then
Yeah,
when it is added with F3,
Again. Float, sir.
and division will also be
Float.
very
Float.
good. Very good. Very good. When I assigns to 3.5, every integer has got a equivalent floating point value. Every floating point number has a equivalent integer number. 3.5, its integer equivalent is 3. 3.9 integer equivalent is
4.
here in C programming language 3. Integer 2, its floating point equivalent is 2.
Zero.
Very nice.
Zero.
Very nice. I assigns to 3.5. So value of I will be
I'll build 3.
B assigns to 30. B will be assigns to
30.0.
30.0. Yes,
30.0.
very good, Kumari Khushi. Yes, good. Next. Sorry. Some operators are promoted, some are demoted. Okay. Data value 1.1 may be demoted to 1, whereas 100 may be promoted to 100.0. Let's go for some brainstorming. Int k 9 by 2. This division will be integer or float?
Float.
No. Both are
Integer.
Integer.
And 9 by 2 integer value is 4. 9 by 2 floating point operation gives 4 point. Understood or not?
Yes.
So 9 by 2 gives a value 4, k is initialized to 4. Understood or not? If I write down k is a float, if I write down k equal to 4, Supratim,
4.5.
4.5.
4.5 or 4.0?
4.5.
4.0. Because
Yes.
9 by 2 is integer division or floating point division?
It's integer division.
Integer 9 by 2 is 4. And when I assign this to float, it will be 4.0.
5.
अरे 4 से 4.5 कैसा होगा भाई?
Sir, যখন
क्या?
job
No,
Sir,
no, no, no.
जब से integer to float convert हो रहा है तो वही पे तो sir
और जो integer से floating convert होने से 4 will be converted to 4.0. Yes. Look at the next one. Same k equal to 9 by 2.0. What would be 9 by 2.0? Integer operation or floating point operation? Floating point. Floating point will give a result 4. But when it assigns, we assigns to k. So this k will be assigned to 4 or not? Both will give the same value, but which takes more time for computation? First one or second one?
Second one.
Second. Is it understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Why not?
Yes.
Don't create a question with this question you answer. Somebody will say 9.2, 9.3, 9 divided by 2.0. The operation will be integer or floating point? Float. Floating point operation 9 by 2.0 is 4.5. Now 4.5 assigns to k will be 4 or not? Understood? Next. What would be the value of k?
4.5.
Very good, 4.5. Very good, Nirmala. Very good, Ankit. Very good. 4.5. If I write down only 2 here, 9 by 2, not 2.0, what would be the value here?
4.0.
Understood the conversion?
Yes.
This way, character short, then int, then long, like this. Explicit type conversion. Let me tell about this. Suppose I'm doing an operation 9 by 3.0. The operation will be
Floating point.
Floating.
but I can carry out an integer operation by using an explicit typecasting. I'll write down 9 divided by, inside bracket I'll write down int, then I'll write down 3.0. So now this 3.0 will be converted to,
T.
now division will be integer.
Integer.
So I can go for a typecasting. If I'm writing a by b, both are integer, then division will be.
Integer.
If I want a floating point division, I can write here float bracket this. So now a, suppose value of a is 20, value of b is 5. In this case, it will be 20 by 5 or it will be 20.0 by 5.
0.0 by 0.5.
If 20.0 by 5 means we need to go for an integer operation or floating point operation.
Floating point.
Understood? 5 is division hardly matters.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
I'm coming. Had B been 3, both will give two different answer, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Without writing
Yes, sir.
float, with writing float, will give two different answer, yes or no? Because 20
Yes.
by 3 is 6 in integer division, 20 by 3 in floating point division is 6.66, I think. Any online students?
Sir,
Abhinandan?
sir, I was having one question. Means
Yes.
if we put 0.0 on denominator, then it is integer. But if we put 0.0 on the numerator, then it is floating point, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
If the number is floating point, operation will be floating point. Understood it?
सर फ्लोटिंग वाला सर एक बार थोड़ा फिर से समझा सकते हैं मतलब सर वो थोड़ा मतलब मैं समझा बट पूरा नहीं समझ पाया
ठीक है वी आर टीचिंग एसिस्टेंट समझा देंगे ये में अब ये बोल द लास्ट 1 मिनट float a int x equal to 6 y equal to 4 x by y can you tell what would be x by y first x by y क्या होगा
Integer.
integer 1 or 1.5
integer 1
but a will be 1 or 1.0
1.0.
One,
very
sir.
good 1.0 Supratim Bani good answer understood it
Yes, sir.
good if I put float x by y will be 1 or 1.5 1.5 is assigned to a and a will be displayed as 1.5 understood it or not
First thing that came up when I googled porn for women was a link to Disney Plus, where all the Avengers movies are. Now, for me personally, they jump around too much. There's too many storylines. You're almost there with Loki, and now we're on Captain America. It's like, I have to start over. That's a different speed, a different pressure, and now there's a raccoon? No.
Dikshita, Deepanita,
That's
Srishti,
Yes, sir.
switch off your audio.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Actually, I didn't know.
Didn't know means you are attending a class, didn't know. Is it understood what A will be displayed? 6.35 or 6? 6. So let me stop it here. Today our
Sir,
yes.
sir, you said that first right hand side is processed, then it returns the value to left hand side.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So in this first example, so
Yes.
first x by y will be processed, which is an integer.
Yes.
So the value will be 1.1 because it is an
No, no, integer division 6 by 4 is 1.
yes, sir, it will be 1. So then when it will give the value to 8, then the final answer will be also 1.0.
Integer division is 1 and then it is assigned to float 1.0.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So জানিছো এই সিস্টেম এইটারে করদো না নালে এইটি তোমার নাটা কোন তো বাস ও online students please wait for 2 minutes, breakout rooms are created. Okay,
Okay, sir.
within 2 minutes breakout rooms will be created. এইটি জানিস এই টু breakout room করে দেবো কি
I have already opened the terminal, and I think you are being the command prompt. Acha. The first command. Can someone tell how to know in which directory I am currently working? Which command display the path?
PWD.
PWD, create working directory. The output specify I am under lab directory, under home, under root. If you observe the line as selected, the first slash represent the root directory, which is called as the front slash. Inside the root, there is a home directory, and inside the home directory, there is a directory called lab. When I just open terminal, it brings me under the lab directory. The PWD command. So, but here I want to make some my own directory, so that while my file size increases, I can manage the file, so that it is very easy to me to search, to open whenever necessary. For creating directory, the command is mkdir. The command is mkdir. The command is mkdir. The complete syntax of mkdir is thing one the mkdir command is to create directory. If you want to create directory, you have to supply some additional things like the name of directory, the location of directory. That means the directory you are want to create in which directory. That means two things I have to specify: the path and the name of the directory. Suppose I want to create a directory called kiit. Called kiit, KIIT. I have skipped the path part. I have only mentioned the directory name. And press enter. In which location it is created? Because inside the lab. Because I have skipped the path part. When you skip the path part, it will create the object under the current directory. And now my current directory is lab. Therefore, the directory which I recently created is created under the lab directory. If you want to move that particular directory, the command is cd. The command is cd. cd, I want to move it on into the kiit directory, KIIT. Enter. As soon as I press enter, if you observe the command prompt automatically changes to kiit.
So what next?
If you want to return to the previous directory, the command is cd dot dot cd space dot dot. Always remember cd dot dot will bring you the parent directory because the kit is created under lab. That means the parent of kit directory will be lab.
Lab.
You are currently under kit directory. If you execute the command cd dot dot, it will bring to the parent of kit. That means lab. Okay. Similarly, if you want to create another directory under kit, mkdir,
It's cd space dot dot, no sir.
cd space dot dot.
Okay.
Suppose I want to create another directory under kit. So I have to specify the complete path. KIT plus btech. Anything. And okay. The btech directory created. Not inside lab, but inside kit directory. Because you mention the path explicitly. If you skip the path, it will be created under lab. But you specify
BTEC is under kit.
BTEC is under kit, but you under lab directory. ସେଠି ପଳେଇବା ଯାଉଛି guys, I will tell you after 2 minutes because I have to change the location.
शुक्ला कैमरा ऑन कर।
वो माइक में नहीं करोगे। में आप करवा रहे थे cd space dot dot।
तो मैं तो सिस्टम चेंज कर दिया, मुझे फिर से बनाना पड़ेगा। तो क्या करना पड़ेगा?
सर mkdir सबसे पहले।
mkdir
सर आपने फुल स्क्रीन नहीं किया हुआ है वो कोड डाल के लिनक्स की केएमएस।
क्या?
वो लिनक्स DKMS डालने से आपका पूरा फुल स्क्रीन हो जाता है, टर्मिनल ये सब स्क्रीन।
तो नहीं किया है MKDIR KIIT, आप एक ही बार भी लिख सकते हो MKDIR KIT स्पेस KIIT/BTech, उसके अंदर KIIT/BTech/B1. In a single attempt, you can use a folder tree using MKDIR. If you observe the line, the first clause is the command itself.
हेलो सर, का लगता है नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है।
शुक्ला फिर से गाना हो जाए।
कौन सा गाना सुनेगा?
क्या टाइमिंग था भाई इसका?
इसका किस्मत ही खराब है।
सर कहाँ गए? घूमने। उनका कनेक्शन इशू हुआ लगता है। कल हुआ क्लास लगता है। चलो लास्ट क्लास में भी यही तो हुआ था क्या? हाँ, लास्ट क्लास में यही तो हुआ था।
अच्छा गाइस, थोड़ा नेट इशू है ऑफिस में, इसलिए थोड़ा ब्रेकआउट।
यस सर, नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है सर। यस सर।
हाँ, अब इट इज विजिबल नाउ।
हाँ सर।
यस यस।
हाँ हाँ, तो on the first part command it is easily created a kit directory. When it comes to the second part, it find a path kiit/btech. The kit is already created.
Yes
It now
sir.
created the directory
BTech.
path. Path is already available. The new directory already created. When it come to this part, up to
B1
that
is
part is
created.
the path. This is the directory created. इसका मतलब हम चाहे तो 3 कमांड में अलग अलग कर सकते थे। एक ही कमांड में भी आप कर सकते हो if the path are specified correctly, but still you are in the lab directory, print working directory, you are under lab directory. If you want to move to the B1 directory, can someone help me how to move to the B1 directory?
So CD change directory.
The first command is the cd, the command itself is the cd. Then what will be the path? What will be the
B1. B1.
And how it is B1?
Sir, kit
BTech.
BTech.
You have to
B1.
write the complete path starting from.
Yeah sir. From starting we have to write
/btech
/B1.
Okay.
Yes sir.
The prompt is automatically in a single attempt without showing any error because the command you provided is the correct one. Okay.
Now CD.
If there should not be any B1 directory, it will show an error.
Yes sir.
Similarly, remember one thing: while you are creating a directory using mkdir, it actually perform 3 operations.
Yes sir.
हाँ, अभी तुमको पता क्या चला कि सपोज मैंने यहाँ पर लिखूंगा mkdir, सपोज kit1, kit1 ओके।
एरर हो जाएगा।
हाँ, मुझे क्या पता चला कि इट क्रिएट a directory kit1. Actually it does three work, three operation in the background it is completed. First one, it is visible, that is the it created the kit1 directory. Whatever the rest two operation, actually it created further two links, one is dot, another is double dot. एक्चुअली वो आप जो डायरेक्टरी का नाम देते हैं क्रिएट कर देता है, उसके साथ साथ दो और लिंक बना देता है, एक सिंगल डॉट और क्या होता है डबल डॉट। आपको पता होगा हम जब बैकवर्ड मूव करते हैं पेरेंट डायरेक्टरी को मूव करने के लिए क्या यूज करते हैं, cd डॉट डॉट।
CD डॉट डॉट।
हाँ, वो डॉट डॉट क्या होता है, जब आप वो डायरेक्टरी बनाते हैं ना तो उसी वक्त वो लिंक बना देता है। वो डॉट डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करता है,
CD
नहीं नहीं, देखो अभी डायरेक्टरी क्या बना kit1,
किट1।
जब kit1 बनेगा तो डॉट डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा, उसका पेरेंट कौन है, लैब।
B1 B1 B1
कैसे b1
सर
लैब
किट
लैब
किट किट
कैसे, आप अभी कहाँ पर हो, अच्छा हाँ ठीक है ठीक है,
हाँ
बोला
किट को ही
ठीक है
करेगा
ठीक
ना
है,
सर वो।
हाँ जो b1 बोला वही सही है। क्यों, देखो बताता हूँ, pwd आप अभी कहाँ पर है, b1 के अंदर है।
यस सर।
हाँ, मैं गलती से वहां पर बना दिया, मुझे लैब के अंदर जाके mkdir kit1 देना चाहिए था, ठीक है। तो मैं b1 के अंदर जब था बना दिया क्या mkdir kit1।
किट1
जब kit1 बन गया तो kit1 का पेरेंट कौन है, b1।
B1 यस सर।
अभी प्रेजेंट स्केनारियो में kit1 का पेरेंट कौन है, b1 है ना।
B1 है सर।
तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ, जब kit1 क्रिएट हुआ तो डबल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा,
B1 को
b1 को।
B1 को।
हाँ, रिमेम्बर वन थिंग, double dot always represent or link to the parent directory.
और
Similarly,
सर
हाँ,
डबल डॉट स्लैश डबल डॉट तो बीटेक को करेगा ना या किट को।
नहीं नहीं, वो आप जब cd करेंगे तब वो काउंट करेगा आप कहाँ जाना चाहते हैं। मैं एक्चुअली क्या बताता हूँ, जब mkdir करोगे तो डबल डॉट हमेशा किसको रिप्रेजेंट करता है,
पेरेंट्स को।
पेरेंट को। देखो
parent
अगर ये लाइन को हम एनालाइज करें, देखो हमने कमांड यूज किया mkdir, पहले क्या उसको प्रोवाइड किया,
किट
तो जब कीट बनेगा तो डबल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा, लैब को।
लैब को। यस सर।
ठीक उसी तरह उसी कमांड में जब बीटेक बनेगा डबल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा,
किट
किट
को
को।
सर।
किट
ठीक है, उसी कमांड में जब b1 बनेगा तो डबल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा, बीटेक को।
बीटेक
बीटेक बीटेक।
तो एक्चुअली बैकग्राउंड में क्या हुआ, हमको पता चलता है कि यहाँ पर जो mkdir हमने कमांड बनाया तो कितना डायरेक्टरी क्रिएट हुआ, तीन डायरेक्टरी, 3 डायरेक्टरी। एक्चुअली बैकग्राउंड में कितना डायरेक्टरी क्रिएट हुआ, 3 डायरेक्टरी एंड 4 लिंक बना, 3 डायरेक्टरी एंड 4 लिंक। जब बीटेक बनेगा तो वहां तब क्या होगा, डबल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करेगा, किट को।
किट को।
वो डबल डॉट क्रिएट होता है ना,
यस सर।
वो लिंक करता है किसको, पेरेंट को। उसी के साथ और एक लिंक भी बन जाता है जिसको बोलते हैं सिंगल डॉट। जैसे डबल डॉट पेरेंट को रिप्रेजेंट करता है तो सिंगल डॉट किसको रिप्रेजेंट करता है, तो डायरेक्टरी विच इज करेंटली क्रिएटेड, जो डायरेक्टरी अभी तुम बना है उसी को एक लिंक भी बन जाता, क्रिएट लिंक करने के लिए पॉइंटर भी बन जाता है।
ठीक है।
हाँ, इसका मतलब जो कीट यू क्रिएटेड द डबल डॉट लिंक रिप्रेजेंट लैब,
लैब
द सिंगल डॉट लिंक पॉइंट कीट itself,
डबल डॉट इज लैब।
double dot point to the lab,
लैब
single dot point to the kit itself.
किट itself।
Similarly, while you created a btech, double dot point to the kit,
किट
the single dot point to the btech
BTech.
itself. Similarly, while you created b1, the double dot point to the btech and the single dot pointed to b1 itself.
यस सर।
तो डबल डॉट ऑलरेडी होता है, इसीलिए आप क्या करते हैं, जब cd कमांड में डबल डॉट मल्टीपल टाइम यूज करता है वो सर्च करके उसको मिल जाता है, अगर नहीं होता तो कैसे उसको फाइंड करता है, समझा। हाँ बोलो।
डबल डॉट रेफर्स टू प्रीवियस जो डायरेक्टरी है, जो पेरेंट डायरेक्टरी है, बट सिंगल डॉट वो कैसे कमांड एक्सेस करें?
देखो सिंगल डॉट का एग्जाम्पल हम बाद में देखेंगे, जब उसका रिक्वायरमेंट आएगा सिंगल डॉट यूज करने का। सिंगल डॉट यूज नहीं करके तुम कमांड यूज नहीं कर सकते, ऐसा भी स्केनारियो होता है। अभी तक के लिए इतना याद रखो।
ठीक है।
One physical directory created and two link created. One is double dot, one another is single dot. Double dot always point to the parent directory and single dot always point to the newly created directory. Am I clear?
यस सर।
यस सर।
हाँ, तो उसी फॉर्मूला को अगर अप्लाई करेंगे, मैं डायरेक्टली लैब के अंदर जाना चाहता हूँ तो क्या करूंगा, सीडी, मुझे पता है जब ये डायरेक्टरी बना तो डबल डॉट भी कंपल्सरी बना होगा, हमको
डबल
पता
डॉट
नहीं।
स्लैश डबल डॉट।
हाँ, डबल डॉट स्लैश डबल डॉट, क्योंकि यहाँ का डबल डॉट आप कहाँ ले जाएगा, बीटेक के अंदर, और एक डबल डॉट कहाँ ले जाएगा,
किट
किट के
किट के
अंदर,
अंदर,
और एक डबल डॉट कहाँ ले जाएगा,
लैब के अंदर।
लैब के
लैब के अंदर। एक काम करते हैं, हम सिर्फ सीडी यूज करते हैं, देखते हैं वो हमको कहाँ ले जाता है। ओके, देखो कहाँ ले गया, मैंने
लैब के
कोई कोई पाथ मेंशन नहीं किया है, सिर्फ
लैब
सीडी यूज किया। हाँ, लैब के अंदर है, आपको कैसे पता चलता है, यहाँ तक कहाँ पर लैब लिखा ही नहीं। ऑलवेज
होम
रिमेम्बर,
डायरेक्टरी जाएगा।
हाँ ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर वन थिंग, ये तुम्हारा जो कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट है, अगर वहां पर एक टिल्ड सिंबल लास्ट में दिख रहा है तो टिल्ड सिंबल ऑलवेज रिप्रेजेंट टू द होम डायरेक्टरी। टिल्ड सिंबल जस्ट बिफोर द डॉलर रिप्रेजेंट यू आर अंडर होम डायरेक्टरी। होम डायरेक्टरी क्या होता है, जब तुम कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट ओपन कर रहे हो, जो लोकेशन आपको बाय डिफॉल्ट मिलता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं, होम डायरेक्टरी। तो हम लोग का होम डायरेक्टरी क्या है, लैब है। समझ में आ रहा है? तो यहाँ पर आप क्या लिख सकते थे, cd डॉट डॉट स्लैश डॉट डॉट स्लैश डॉट डॉट स्लैश, तीन डॉट डॉट यूज करने वाले थे, तो यहाँ पर एक ही डॉट में आ गया। ये फिक्स है, अगर आप कहीं भी हो, आपको होम डायरेक्टरी को जाना है, आप cd यूज करो, डायरेक्ट cd एंटर। अगर और कहीं जाना है, यू आर बाउंड टू मेंशन द पाथ। Am I clear? Guys, response?
यस सर।
और क्या बताए थे, जैसे फाइल क्रिएट करना है gedit,
यस सर, बता दिए थे।
और किसे कंपाइल करना है तो
यस सर।
सबका सबका याद है ना,
यस सर।
और कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करना है,
यस सर, वो
यस
बता।
सर।
कौन बताएगा हाउ टू एग्जीक्यूट द प्रोग्राम, उसके
डॉट
लिए क्या कमांड
स्लैश ए डॉट आउट।
है,
यस सर।
डॉट स्लैश ए डॉट आउट,
डॉट
डॉट
आउट।
स्लैश ए।
डॉट स्लैश ए डॉट आउट, डॉट स्लैश ए डॉट आउट। अच्छा, ये जो स्लैश अभी यहाँ दिख रहा है, ये कौन सा स्लैश बता पाएगा, फ्रंट स्लैश और बैकवर्ड स्लैश?
बैकवर्ड स्लैश।
बैकवर्ड स्लैश सर।
अगर ये बैकवर्ड स्लैश है तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं?
सर ये बैकवर्ड स्लैश है सर, वो फॉरवर्ड है।
ये सब
हाँ।
बैकवर्ड है, वो फॉरवर्ड है।
हाँ, अब तो तुमको आराम से पता हो गया, अगर मैं बोल दिया ना तो ये बैकवर्ड है तो आपको पूरा कोई डाउट नहीं है, वो जो है फॉरवर्ड स्लैश है। ठीक है।
जनरली फॉरवर्ड स्लैश लिनक्स में यूज होता है, बट बैकवर्ड्स कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट विंडोज का है।
हाँ, in a Windows environment, we use backslash as path separator. But in case of Linux environment, we use front slash as path separator. Path is of two types. Path is of two types. One is absolute path, another is relative path. One is absolute path, another is relative path. Remember, the path starting from root the path starting from root directory is always called as absolute. The path starting from root directory always called as what? Absolute. Absolute path. The path starting from current directory. The path starting from current directory is called as relative path.
Relative path.
Is called as relative path.
Relative.
जैसे कि आपने यहाँ पर cd कमांड दिया, कुछ पाथ लिखा था नहीं ना, इसका मतलब क्या? करंट डायरेक्टरी से डायरेक्ट आपने कहाँ चला गया? होम के अंदर।
होम के अंदर।
कहाँ चला गया? होम के अंदर। देखो अभी मैं होम के अंदर हूँ, आप चाहे उसको pwd कमांड यूज करके देख सकते हैं, नहीं तो सबसे शॉर्टकट मेथड क्या है? अगर कमांड साइन से पहले, कमांड प्रॉम्प्ट के पहले टिल्ड सिंबल दिख रहा है, इट इज क्लियर,
यस सर।
यू आर अंडर द होम डायरेक्टरी।
होम डायरेक्टरी।
हाँ, तो मैं अगर क्या, देखो B1 के अंदर जाना चाहता हूँ, तो उसके लिए एब्सोल्यूट पाथ क्या होगा? मैंने अभी भी क्या बोला? द पाथ स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम रूट डायरेक्टरी इज कॉल्ड एज एब्सोल्यूट, बट नाउ आई वांट टू मूव टू द B1 डायरेक्टरी। If I writing the path starting from
होम डायरेक्टरी। सारे गए। सर नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है।
हेलो गाइज, चल नेटवर्क थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है।
यस सर। सर बोल रहे थे कि आज अटेंडेंस लेके आज छोड़ दीजिए सर, बार बार कट हो जा रहा है।
आप अटेंडेंस के बारे में मत सोचो, तो ठीक है, तो बाद में बता देंगे। अभी जो हमने बोला है वो क्या बोला था? रिलेटिव एब्सोल्यूट, वो क्या होता है? पाथ, पाथ टाइप, एब्सोल्यूट पाथ
यस
एंड
सर।
रिलेटिव पाथ। तो बाद में बताएंगे पाथ वेरिएबल क्या होता है, पाथ कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है, पाथ कमांड क्या होता है, डॉट प्रोफाइल फाइल, उसमें बाद में बताएंगे। तो मुझे अटेंडेंस फिर से डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, आप प्रोग्राम करो।
ठीक है सर।
हो गया सर।
As a response your role 256